Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into something everyone's been talking about, the legal challenges facing former President Donald Trump. Specifically, we're looking at this summer, mid-2025, and asking, will he actually face jail time? We've gathered the source material, and our mission really is to unpack all of that for you. What's the immediate future looking like after that, well, truly historic conviction? Just to quickly recap, back in May 2024, we saw the New York conviction. Falsifying business records. It was all tied to that hush money payment during the 2016 election cycle. A huge deal, obviously. I mean, the first time ever a former U.S. president has faced a criminal conviction. But what happened next is where our deep dive really begins.
Yeah, that's right. Because the sentencing in early 2025 by Judge Juan Merchan, it took a lot of people by surprise. He handed down what's called an unconditional discharge.
Unconditional discharge? What does that actually mean in practice?
It means essentially no penalty. No prison time, no probation period, not even a fine.
Nothing, really.
Nothing. The judge pointed to a few things. Trump's, unique political position, the legal complexities around him, and also, importantly, that the offense itself was nonviolent. So it was a remarkably lenient sentence, considering the context. It kind of signals the specific path the justice system took in this unprecedented case.
Okay, so very lenient sentence. You'd almost think case closed, right? Nope, there's another big development. Despite getting that unconditional discharge, Trump's legal team, they went ahead and filed an appeal anyway. They want the conviction itself overturned completely, which naturally leads to the question, what happens now? What if the appeal works? Or what if it doesn't?
Right. Two distinct paths there. If the appeal succeeds, poof, his record could potentially be wiped clean on this charge.
Yeah.
Gone. But if the appeal fails and the conviction stands, well, then new consequences could theoretically come into play. But and this is the fascinating part, most legal experts are saying jail time is still very unlikely.
Very unlikely, even if the conviction is upheld on appeal.
Yes. The reasoning is pretty consistent. He has no prior criminal record, which is a huge factor. The crime was nonviolent. And, the justice system, especially in New York, for this type of white-collar offense, often prefers alternatives for first-time offenders. Things like fines, maybe home confinement. Incarceration isn't usually the first step. Now, the Court of Appeals does have power. If the conviction is upheld and Trump were to, say, violate some condition later or get into new legal trouble, then yes, harsher penalties could be back on the table. But that's a separate if.
Okay, that very unlikely assessment is strong. Is it just the lack of priors and the nonviolent aspect, or does his, unique status play into that expert view too?
It's mostly the combination of factors typical in sentencing analysis. First-time offender, nonviolent crime. While falsifying records was a felony here because it was linked to covering up another crime, the act itself isn't typically one that sends someone straight to jail on a first offense in New York, especially when other penalties are available. The system usually escalates penalties. It doesn't often start at the top for this kind of thing.
Right, got it. And of course, we need to remember the New York case isn't happening in a vacuum. It's just one part of a much bigger legal maze for Trump. There's the Georgia election interference case, for instance. That's a big one, involving racketeering charges against him and several others. Racketeering sounds serious.
It is. It basically alleges running a criminal enterprise through a pattern of illegal acts. It's complex.
And then there were those federal cases, the classified documents probe, the investigations related to the Capitol riot. What's the status there? Our sources mentioned those have been, paused or maybe shifted somehow.
That's largely correct. Some of those federal matters have been put on hold or altered. It's partly due to ongoing appeals, but also significantly because of his current political status.
Ah, right, the presidency.
Exactly. Winning in 2024 adds this whole other layer of complexity. As the sitting president, he might get temporary immunity from some types of prosecution.
Only some, not all.
He's not a complete shield, no. And honestly, this is a really murky legal area right now. The Supreme Court is still grappling with the specifics, especially around whether immunity covers actions taken outside official presidential duties. It just underscores how, dynamic and frankly unprecedented this whole situation is.
Okay, so let's circle back. Bringing it all together for this summer, June, July 2025. Our core question, will Donald Trump be in jail? Based on everything we've looked at from our sources, the consensus seems to be highly unlikely.
Highly unlikely is the right way to put it, yes. But crucially, not completely impossible. A lot still depends on how the appeal plays out, what the courts decide on that, and potentially other matters in the near future. Those are the key things to watch. So thinking about all this, the lenient sentence, the ongoing appeal, the other cases still looming, The whole immunity question, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Are these legal troubles finally starting to wind down for him, or could this actually just be the beginning of a whole new chapter? Something for you to think about.